scratch on it, they throw it on iTunes, and then people start buying it off iTunes. So it's literally just using whatever outlet you can to your advantage to get your music out there. And whatever benefits your brand. It's just like they say, you know, they don't use it, but I use it because I came in during the Soulja Boy curve where he was using the internet, and the way he was getting people to listen to his music was naming his music with popular song titles, and then you would click it on YouTube and it'd be like, you! But that's the way the game works. So in a digital land, you know, it's really about just how can you attack at angles. How many times can you get yourself in an algorithm? Really doesn't make sense a lot of times. But then eventually, you know, after a while, the way you got Tumblr to where you can track these songs and people put them on their Tumblr, and this person reblogged it and they heart it and they like it. You got all these different forms of expression of liking a song. People put a 9-second clip on IG. People make a Vine. That's what made the fucking Bobby Shmurda song go up.
Yeah,
People started on Vine so many times. You and then you don't even have to click the Vine. You scroll past it, it just play by itself. So it's just like you got all these different forms.
That's what say. Like that's how Sage Gemini got started with Red Nose. It was a Vine video. Like it'll tell you like he did the song playing on some fun shit, and it ended up sparking off his whole career. So it's like you never know. I think the main thing is it's just building a brand. And like he said, you don't become a brand until you become a household name. And you don't become a household name by keeping everything to yourself. Completely. I don't know if you got something. No, that was cool.
I think there's another aspect of it though, because it's like you got like Reverb Nation and SoundClick, I think it's called. Like, and I feel like that always degraded like the work. It always fucked with the work of your music. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like everybody at any minute they can download it. Yeah, it's way too accessible. So I think that's not necessarily good. But like when you do like projects for like beat tapes, like that's branding. Like Flying Lotus, he made a business out of it.
That's definitely true.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Now, I would say this, and this is for you, like, you know, you're very young, you know, very talented. How did you actually, you know, start producing, and how did you actually make a brand for yourself?
The brand itself, it kind of just like happened. Like I'm just me at the end of the day. Like I don't really have like a gimmick or anything like that. But like as far as like my break into the industry, it was due to networking. It wasn't really the internet like that. I had a relationship with DJ Spins based off of church and, you know what I'm saying, things like that. And he popped off and he was like, yo, you wanna, and I was like, yeah. So mine was like a little more organic, but I know a lot of people that reach out online and then they, you know, they send stuff and then somebody's like, oh, this kid's got it. Well, you know what I'm saying? It happens like that a lot.
Yeah. Now, how did y'all actually get started in the game, you know, and everything? Like, how did y'all actually make a brand for yourselves?
Well, it started out as, you know, we were both doing separate things. I was producing, we were both out in LA. I was producing, and he was DJing, and we weren't even really working together, and we were having different situations to where we felt like we wanted to take ourselves to the next level. And, you know, just through our mutual friendship and just bouncing ideas off each other, we decided to, you know, take our individual skills, him being a DJ, doing mixtapes, and I was, you know, just doing beats at the time, and we literally took the beats that I was making, and he was doing the tapes with a lot of West Coast artists, and we just, you know, we had these artists get on these beats. And then from there, it started to develop a, you know, just a thing for us to do, and we turned it into a business really fast. And we decided to start a group together, and we didn't want to be managed. We started self-managing ourselves, knowing that we had enough knowledge in this industry of knowing how to get our stuff out there, and just, you know, he's a key networker, you know, and. That's kind of how it started. I mean, for us, it was more so just taking the mindset of saying, you know what, fuck it, we can do this shit ourselves. And it took a lot of groundwork, it took a lot of hours, and from that point, like he kind of said, it kind of worked organically. And you meet people, you meet them again, you meet them a third time, next thing you know, they're your nigga, and you dapping them up, and you're doing this, you know what I mean? And it's just what happens. And from there, you turn those relationships into songs and records and hits, and next thing you know, you have a brand.
Outstanding.
Yeah, because I mean, that was the main thing, is like, think maybe one time our whole career we've had somebody from a label place a song. It always came from just being out and messing with people, and like that's why we used the tapes at that time. Mixtapes was still like popular. Like it kind of came back down with like Migos being able to drop tapes and they get songs on the radio. So we was using the same thing. Like that's how we got cool with J Rock and Kendrick and Drake early on and like all this other stuff, just because we was using that angle to take care of something else. And then just using one relationship to lead to the other. Because the other thing we do too was we wouldn't focus on like T.I., Jeezy or whatever. We focus on young boys because everybody chasing them. But if we can get on something on the way up, you're gonna be, you know, you're gonna be in for the long haul. Plus too, they gonna feel like, man, you was fucking with me when there was no reason to. You know what I mean? Where it's like a lot of times, you know, I don't know if Childish has gone through it yet, but it's like you can give an artist their biggest song, but it don't mean y'all gonna work again.
That's real.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's better, like we find it now, especially in this day and age, it's better to just get with people that you believe in or you believe that y'all can make good music together and then just do it. Because then once it grow, you build for life. Like you may get other shit outside, but you stay home. Like look at 40 and Drake. Like 40 started off as the engineer and just being loyal to Drake and making sure that the music was right. And then it came to a thing like, shit, fuck it, I'll make the beats.
Right.
And then they don't need nobody to do nothing. And so that's the main thing. It's like maximizing all this shit so you can be self-contained, do it yourself, and be able to move how you want to do. What's up, homie?
Hello. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, and like just this anywhere, it's just knowing that it's possible, you know, man. Every one of y'all, it's possible. There's so many ways to be successful in music, man. So many ways, man. You just don't have the mindset that what you're looking at right now via media is the wave. Me personally, I got my start. I'm born in New Orleans. Hurricane happened in 2005. I graduated in May. It happened in August. So I spent a lot of time just as a 17-year-old figuring out life and seeing a lot of things that I grew up on disappear. So I was kind of forced into change, you know. And it gave me this boldness to go after something that everybody thought was so ridiculous, like the music business, you know. My mom used to always say, people gonna do you like Tony Braxton, manager. Take all your money. And I used to be like, what the fuck is you talking about? I was just at a point in my life where I was just looking for a drastic change. And you know, that's what this music business is, man. You know, this music business is always a drastic change, man. It's always one song pushing the envelope, and you know, and then maybe sometimes it's just this one artist who got a hold of the game for 10 years. But at the same time, you just got to be able to look at this shit from a different perspective. You know, so many times people can be caught up in looking at the charts and forgetting that music can take you around the world, man.
Right.
And if you wake up and look around, you don't hear about Marley Music everywhere, but he's one of the biggest figures in music ever. You know, and you just got to think about things like that. You know, a lot of the shit you hear now, it's commercial. It's money. You know, it's money behind it. So, you know, you just got to think about your brand. I moved to Hollywood at 17 years old. I got my start networking just like everybody else. I happened to be around Diana Ross' two sons, Evan and Ross, and Evan was into music. He was filming the ATL movie, and I ended up happening to meet this guy named K.O. who was working with Grand Hustle as a producer. So he wanted some beats. I gave him some beats. One of the beats ended up going on Young Jock album, a record called Pac-Man, and then another record ended up going on R. Kelly Double Up, which was a title track, Double Up. So that was my first taste of hearing my music out in the world and having a piece of credit, but not really being the face of the record. And then after that, I ended up meeting this guy called Hit Boy, who produced Niggas in Paris. Y'all might have heard of that name. Me and Hit Boy, we started off, man, in the fucking country in his mom's house, making beats every day on Fruity Loops. We both had a connection with Polo the Don individually. When we met up, he mentioned it in conversation, and I was like, yo, he actually reached out to me too. So me and Hit Boy started working a lot together. Polo came out to LA to work on Rich Boy album. We went and met with Polo, played him a bunch of beats. He decided to sign us. We signed to Polo. We signed to Zone 4 Inc. We moved to Atlanta in 2009. We started working in Zach's every day. This was my introduction to the music businesses every day, working with musicians, working there in the studio 24 hours a day, invoices, you know, all this type of shit, you know, inducting guitarists in the union, all this type of shit. So, you know, you just gotta find a way to get yourself in the education aspect of the business first before you really try to worry about making a hit. Because you can get a hit, get a lot of money, and be on your ass. Yeah, not get shit out of it. So you really want to find a situation that you can believe in yourself in all the way and learn the education aspect. Maybe work your way into finding a mentor. I was blessed to have Polo, Timbaland, and Pharrell, guys I looked up to, mentor me, I guess because they saw that I was trying to learn the business side of it. Because you're not going to spend all your hours making a hit. You're going to make a record and you're going to spend your hours trying to make that record a hit, you know, getting it to DJs, playing it for the right people, you know, moving a record from Atlanta to LA, moving a record from LA to NY, and then knowing the people who, you got to know, there's so many things that are intricate parts of music. You just got to know to be a team player more than anything.
And the dumb random shit, like as much as you networking with other artists, network with niggas that you fuck with and maybe other producers.
Yes.
Because guess what? He was fucking with KO. We was fucking with R. Kelly. We took the KO beat and got that shit to R. Kelly. And then found out later Chance did the shit. So it's like, it'd be funny how shit be coming together. And like now, shit, we got a company together, making music together. We was on tour with Drake. Finna have his single coming out, Ty Dolla $ign. So it's like, shit tend to work together, you know what I mean? Just on, if you be on some cool shit.
Yeah,
and
man,
just like respecting other people's music as your own. And if you got an opportunity, make it happen. Like the same way that we was in LA, our boy Glass Malone was working with DJ Toom. They said they needed a keyboard. We drove all the way, shit, he came from Long Beach. I came from downtown. We came and brought on keyboard. From that shit, it turned into one of our artists that was fucking with Mr. Fab. He was cool with Short. Short was performing at the Playboy Mansion. We took to the Playboy Mansion. Next day we go back to the studio. Well, I am coming here trying to get some beats from Toom. Toom like, man, I don't got no beats for y'all. So shit, him plugged up, played some shit. We got a song deal with Will I Am in 2 days. So it's like, random shit can happen, but you just gotta be ready. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, don't try to plan shit out. You know what I mean? Just be prepared. Cause you never, what's up, homie? Cause you never know what's gonna happen. And that's the whole thing of like building your catalog, working on your craft. It's like steps, work on your craft, and take it out there. Go out with people and get people to hear your shit. Mingle with other producers, and, you know what I mean? You never know who could help you out, but just be open to that shit.
Yeah, man, I met Hit Boy through MySpace, I met Drake through MySpace, and then I eventually met Drake in Zach's studios trying to come work with Don Cannon, and Don Cannon flaked on the meeting. And I was in there talking to Drake, and then that was the first time we met in person. I was like 18. And then from that day forward, we just been best friends, you know? And even then, I met them in the studio playing beats with J-Rock. It was the only ones there. Then we built a relationship on being competitive basketball players in the gym. We barking at each other and barking at everybody else. So, you know, you just gotta put yourself in a space with people who are like-minded like you from learning the business, you know. You're gonna meet so many people who wanna make hits and make hits and make hits. Them motherfuckers come and go, man. One thing I like to tell people who always sit in these rooms, there's something about y'all for y'all to come here. Because you see it ain't no line down the hall. But the business is why motherfuckers last, man, period. That's why people want to sign to L.A. Reid. That's why people want to sign to New York Cohen, Kevin Lyles. That's why 10 niggas run the game management-wise. It's simple as that. Yeah. You know, you got to really, I don't know if y'all know that, but then y'all should look into that when y'all leave. It's probably like 10 people who run the game management-wise. I'm from New Orleans. I remember seeing Cortez Bryant when niggas was running around with white tees and jabots and reeds on them, bro. I'm so serious. I'm serious. He's like the Ty to Cash Money. What was Ty? You gotta think, these are dudes who are running the music game. Sure. These are guys from the street running the music game. Hop, G, all these guys people look up to from the street, man. Didn't go to Full Sales, didn't go to none of that type of shit, man. But they have a love for this business because
I found a lane that worked for them.
Yeah, and one thing like the streets, I ain't even talking about no drug shit, but just on some cultural shit. The streets is always the pulse of change and always the pulse of what's going on. So when you come from that environment, you always got a feel for it. These people in the office, if you don't come from that environment, you don't have a feel for what's going on. So you know the key thing is to always know that to believe in yourself and put yourself in situations where you can feel yourself and feel what's going on, because this music business is crazy, man. You're gonna see some shit that you never thought would pop up. Just how you have a Soulja Boy, then you get a motherfucking Riff Raff, then you get a Gangnam Style. You always have that type of music coming, and there's always gonna be selling more records than the type of shit we making too. But you gotta remember, the music we make is the pulse of what's going on, man. Always, always. And that's where the branding comes in and the business comes in. Because you're gonna make music, But look at Jay-Z, Samsung sell 1 million copies before it even touched the store. Look at the merch game now, where you can drop a shirt with your mixtape, and you can sell them bitches on Big Cartel, PayPal, and sell them out. Pre-orders. You don't even have them made yet. Like, that's unheard of now. Like, back then you couldn't sell a nigga a shirt before you had the shirt. You could sell a nigga a shirt before you even got the shirt done now. Because that's a part of the game, because these fans are so in love, they want to have it first, you know? So you're almost like your own network, and that's why the independent game is back. You just got to figure out a way to put yourself to learn all this shit, man. Don't just be putting your music up on SoundCloud if you ain't gonna pay for the premium account. Don't be putting your music up on all these terms and conditions y'all niggas signing. Best believe in a few years, if you hear your shit in a movie, you're not gonna have no right to get no check from it.
And just knowing two things like SoundCloud are owned by Universal.
Yes.
It's not just like them out. It's not just like a random company that's playing shit. And at the same time, like if you're an artist or a producer, if you're starting to get so many hits on your account, somebody gonna hit you. Because people are watching. Like, it ain't just like some fun shit.
Yeah.
Same thing with YouTube. You get 1 million hits, you getting a check.
Yep.
You get 500,000, you getting a check. So learn to monetize everything that you're doing. And even if it's something you feel like, well, these just some beats I made for fun.
Yeah, get pennies on a dollar for your shit, man. Please get pennies on your dollar for the shit in this digital generation, just because you can. You couldn't do that before on some product shit. You couldn't just, you'll make a bunch of shirts and them bitches just sit. You'll end up giving them away. You can get pennies on a dollar for every song you put on YouTube. All you gotta do is sign up to these programs and pay for your shit. Monetize and invest in yourself first, and they gonna pay you back. And just keep uploading content, because that's the way this digital shit works, man. It don't really work on selling 1 million copies no more. The niggas who doing that, they putting a lot of money in that shit. It's really about algorithms and how you can stay in people's face and how you can keep people there and keep people engaged. It's really about engagement nowadays, man. If you can keep your audience engaged, you can win with this music shit. It don't really matter about the taste level. You can drop another fucking 10-minute beat with 10 changes in it. Look at the EDM world. Skrillex. You do whatever you want. Just brand it properly, and you have to legitimize yourself. The thing in hip hop, niggas is so used to rapping about brands and then just getting free product and being cool with it, they don't want to legitimize themselves and monetize their efforts. They just think they're gonna be so hot that Reebok gonna get them a $50,000 check, or like Ross or this, or get a Ciroc deal. That's ridiculous, you know. You gotta monetize yourself. You can have 100 videos on YouTube making you $100 a day.
Now, I can say this much. You have a lot of people that, I mean, I'm really taking a look at it, like, you know, from SoundCloud. And you have, like, my boys next week, like, you know, they also top producers as well. They work with, like, you know, Dog, G, and Click. My man, Dennis Brown, give a shout out to him. You know, all the Detroit cats, even my man Elzon, you know, give a shout out to him as well. Now, you do have people who are trying to basically market their music. However, let's go ahead and take it to an independent standpoint. If a person that does not have a name, but is just submit the beat on SoundCloud, you can easily download it and everything, so on and so forth. Trinidad James.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
He has done that.
Yes.
And go with platinum.
Yeah.
However, nobody didn't know who the producer was. There was no name, but the dude went platinum. Now, Short, because when I looked at the interview, Short was like, it just slowed down. Hey, this is my, you know, this is my beat. You know. Now the question was, okay, you have that producer who made a platinum beat. You know, should he get paid, or should he have went to, you know, get everything like, you know, ironed out, you know, to use that sample? Because some people does use samples and everything, but they don't get a clearance. But however, when they actually do that, they can say, well, well, I'm just playing around. Yeah, let me see if it's hot or not, you know. But literally, people just snatched it up. And it's like, when I look at, you know, I listen to your music, man, you didn't know, bro, that was, I ain't gonna lie, man, like, I'm part of 5 Minute Segment Fraternity Incorporated. We have a stroke to that song. It's hard. It goes hard. And it's like, I mean, I look, you know, listen to y'all, you know, your music. I mean, all of y'all guys are like phenomenal. And it's like, what would you have to say, like, to some of these people, you know, about the ins and outs of basically chopping up sounds and solidifying their beats online, you know? Just say if they actually got, like, got a platinum hit, should they get paid for it?
You talking about samples? You talking about just like somebody using your beat and them getting money?
Yeah, exactly. Just use the beat and everything, and you know they go hard on it. And they go
Here's the
Should they
greatest
get-
misconception. You want people to steal your shit and you want it to be successful as fuck. And you just sit back and wait.
It's already yours.
Oh, it went $1 million? Okay,
You
hey.
gotta be like the feds, man.
And more than anything else, like you don't want to stop your investment
At all.
You want it to pop off, and then you say, "Hey, I need my shit now." You don't want to kill it before it
And
starts.
you cut the pie realistically. You gotta understand that you made the beat, but that person put the lyrics on it and they put the legs on it. So if you gotta come in there and be like, look, man, I just want 20%, 25%, 15% so you can keep that relationship. Because that's what this business is, man. If you stop the business, niggas not fucking with you. Because when the paperwork stops, 100 niggas not getting paid on this shit. The way beats work, if one person don't even sign a paper on
Shit,
the deck,
it took us
ain't
3
nobody
years.
getting paid.
It took us 3 years to get our royalties off the Jeezy recession though, because somebody had a sample issue.
Exactly.
So it stopped everybody money.
Nobody get paid. Nobody get paid. So you gotta realistically and courteously, in a caring way, do business. You can't be like, well, I made a platinum beat because that shit was sitting there. Like it was sitting there. He made that shit hot. It was hot. And he put the spice on it and it went. So you just gotta come at niggas the proper way and be like, yo, I made this beat, I understand you did what you did. I just want to make sure I get my credit. Maybe you don't ask for an advance and just be like, man, let me get my publishing. Let me just get my way into the game because you can get your first placement and then go get a pub deal off of that. There's so many different ways you can get your money for real.
Do they have to give it to you? Like, if you didn't?
Yeah, because you can take them to court, but at the end of the
That costs
day,
money.
people don't want to do bad business. Like the music
Well, some
business,
people.
the music business.
Some people might.
Yeah.
That's people who are good at bad business.
Right.
But people who want to be successful and get their start, they really don't want to do bad business because no one will get paid.
Yeah, I just want to keep it flowing.
Yeah.
But here's like a couple things, just for example, money-wise, like, let's say you work with an artist and they don't got no paper. The advantage of not taking advance is you get your royalties soon. Because you don't get your royalties until they deduct whatever your advance was. So if your advance was $20,000, that song's got to make $20,000 before you see it on a check.
And people never know that. People just think that they hot and they getting $20,000 and then they're publishing. Like, no, you got fronted, and that's why that's the key thing about this music shit. You gotta know this is a bank. I was just telling my little homie this the other day in the studio, like, when you get the bag, run. Because the same way you go to a bank for a loan, you have to come with a plan. You just don't go in there and be like, I need a loan. They're going to be like, what you doing with the money? Oh, I'm about to start a produce, so I'm about to do this, I'm about to open up a grocery market. Okay, for sure, we can give you $75K. You can go flip it and do whatever you want once you get the money, but you got to understand the way this shit works. When they give you that money, you have to clear that back. So
And it don't mean it's going to keep coming like that.
At all.
Unless the songs keep coming.
Period. So there's so many ways, man. You just have to be the one to be from a producer perspective. Just know that the game is in your hands. You just gotta figure it out. It's really in your hands because you're making the music. Because even if they run off with the shit, you can still go take meetings and be like, I made that beat, and show the proof to it, and do what you want to do. Build some more relationships. You might not build a relationship with that person. Like you said, they might not want to give it to you. But at the end of the day, people are gonna hear that song and be like, yo, that shit was hot. Who made the beat? Right. The real person is gonna have to stand up eventually.
And just figure out what your minimum is. Like, realistically know what you want. You know what I mean? And as long as you know what your minimum is, you can always ask for a little bit more. Because this thing is always about negotiation. No matter what you think you're worth, you ain't never gonna get that number. It's always gonna be like, shit, I want 20, I'll give you 18. All right, well, give me 19, and then the deal done. You know what I mean? So just figure out what your minimum is and then use the leverage. Because we've done that a number of times where we knew what our bottom number was. We got them to pay a little bit extra, but we also left them feeling like, damn, I owe the business. So the next time something come around, they throw you a nod, and they turn you into more money. You know what I mean? So don't always try to chase one thing when you could be getting a whole bunch of things that may just come in different side things.
It was a question, or you just want to close out?
No. It's still a question.
They say, hey,
We all rolling.
do everything.
I'm like, yeah, everybody got, you know what I'm saying? They saying some real shit. I'm learning. I need to be in where y'all at.
But out of all this, like, you really the closest one to it. Like, for example, like Duraco, like, it came from nowhere.
Yeah,
it was
a
like,
mixtape record.
Yeah.
I ain't even know he had the beat, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Until it came out. But that's the thing, like, it's always about covering your tracks. And like they said, learn, you know what I'm saying? Take it from a learning aspect.
Yeah.
But luckily, I had Jeff and Shaka, they man is Ludacris. But they were able to come in and just kind of just teach me. They let me sit in on meetings they had with other people. And, you know what I'm saying? Just, it was a real crash course, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of just got thrown into the world. But, I mean, from there, I just learned, and all I could do is just, like, share with my homies and just let them know that, you know what I'm saying, you deserve what you deserve, you know.
All right, hey, we had a question from the audience. What was your question?
I'm seeing a lot dealing with the internet and the, social media. I see a lot of producers online that has saturated the internet. And I deal with a lot of the up and coming producers and stuff, people that's coming up and trying to just make that money out of their mom's house or in the basement.
Yeah,
you got exclusive.
I can talk for days on that.
You got exclusive and you got non-exclusive, or just talk on leasing beats. Is it even worth it? Because it's saturating the internet.
Man, it's definitely worth it because I lease beats
Hey,
all the time.
but honestly, you can't saturate the internet.
Yeah,
It's more bullshit coming up. Like, I knew hip hop got new songs every like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it is what it is.
You only think saturation when you're contrived as far as your outlets. You know,
Or your choices.
Your choices, exactly. Your options. You know what you present yourself because the internet is a vast fucking world. But you just gotta understand. With the producers, man, you gotta stop calling them producers until they prove themselves as producers. You gotta call them up and coming beat makers. As long as you keep saying that young niggas is producers and you treating them like they deserve it, if he can't get out his mama house, he ain't a producer. Cause I was out my mama house at 17 because my mama made me get out the house if I wanted to be a producer. Cause producers didn't live in my mama house. Chill builders and eye doctors lived in my mama house.
Yeah.
So that's what they knew. They knew checks that was coming on the 1st and the 15th. They ain't know. They don't know every 3 months or calendar this and this and that. They don't know that. So, and you got to think these kids, they parents is on the same tip. So they business sense is on the same tip as their parents.
Yeah.
So either you gonna educate them, you have to treat them like beat makers first. If these kids ain't willing to come out here, man, I slept on floors, slept in cars, man, did all type of stuff, man, do this music stuff, man. So if a nigga in his mama house and you calling him a producer, that's on you as a person. You know, you gotta, it's like calling a nigga in the park because he doing windmills, Vince Carter. Like, no, Vince Carter went through high school, college, and the NBA, and he's still balling. That's why he's Vince Carter, and he's invested in himself. Even in the off season, these NBA players got all that money, but they still got to train. They still got to make sure their body in shape. They still got to have their diet intact. They still got to make sure their kids, they're good parents with that, this and that and third. So that comes as a producer as well. That comes as a manager, managing producers. If you can't see that person in a business environment, they're not a producer. That is a professional title. A beat maker, that's somebody who make beats. That's like somebody who play video games, you know. But it's all about the perspective, you know. Simple as that, you know. Just like you said, saturation. It ain't saturated. You gotta listen for what's hot. And if you hear some shit and you don't think they business sense is up, you gotta leave them in that space. You don't do the business and leave them in the creative space. But it's the idea of thinking that since you can find all this music on the internet that these kids are artists and producers, that's bullshit to me. That's always been bullshit to me because even though I put my music on the internet, I'm torn and we put our own money up. It's all independent, you know. Niggas out here performing in front of 9 people one day, 2,000 the next day, 17 one day, 300 another day, you know. You gotta put yourself in a world. You can't even call yourself a producer if you ain't even going in different environments hearing the music. How can you even produce for other artists? You can't even channel the energy, you know. So it's you gotta let amateurs be amateurs. And when you do hear an amateur come with some shit that sound like it could be professional, you as a professional either have to be a mentor or you just gotta do business.
Yeah, because I could basically say this. Like I said at the top, free beats or not. You know, yes, there's pros and cons to it. You know, you can actually have a person, you know, basically submit their beats online and everything. However, you know, start making a brand for yourself. Start putting your name out there, so on and so forth. If you want to do something the right way, go ahead and, you know, do things the right way, legalize yourself, copyright yourself, everything else. Then from there, you get picked up, boom, there it is. Like my man said, everybody's saying it. Dude, people are watching. They looking at everything.
And if you ain't got enough beats to give away a couple for free, you ain't making enough beats.
Exactly.
That's just like in your house. If a nigga you can't, if you ain't got no food to spare, it's the same. It's the same. It's really that, man. Like if you ain't got nothing to spare, like my dad said, if you can't give it away, if you can't buy it 3 times or give it away 3 times, you shouldn't have it.
Right.
Period, point blank. And that's the way this music thing is, man. You should be working so much to where you should be willing to give away something so you think something happens. And that's where the belief happens. Because that's what makes music special, the belief, not just doing it. Yeah, man. Niggas is just doing music because they feel like they can get some cash. And it's always going to have some cash in it. It's America. It's cash everywhere. People selling flowers. People selling fucking rock bracelets. You know, so you can get money, but that person selling you that rock bracelet got something inside them that made you buy it. Like at the end of the day, how they presented it to you made you buy that rock bracelet. You looked at it differently. It wasn't just some rocks out the dirt. It's like, nah, these rocks might have some energy to them. That's what this music is. This music is nothing until you get people to feel it. They don't even, if they ain't paying for it if they don't feel it. They ain't downloading it if they ain't feeling it. So you gotta get people to feel the shit first. Get people to feel you. And then also you have to have a feel for this music, man. You really have to have a feel for this music. If you don't, like, I'm not classically trained, but I put myself in positions. I've invested in the keyboards. I've invested in this and that and the third. So you gotta be willing to share the wealth in this music to succeed, period, point.
And be smart about it too, because like, let's just look at it. There's a million stories about motherfuckers going broke.
Man.
Yeah.
Everybody gets the money. It's what you do with it. How many motherfucking artists you know that retire successfully?
Man.
Shit, all them motherfuckers on Unsung. Man, I had 30 little ones on broken shit. Like, come on, man. Like, the problem is not getting the money. The problem is keeping it, reinvesting it, or
And understanding how you're getting it.
And how often.
Yes, that's the key.
and the
thing.
different forms.
Yes,
you can get ASCAP BMI check, you can get publishing check, you get your beat rate, it's all type of shit. You get syncs from TV.
Yes.
And please know we made more money off of sync off the TV and doing the T-Pain Freaknik cartoon special than we did selling beats for Lil Wayne.
Yes.
Wow.
Jingle 3000.
Just look at it though, like albums aren't selling 1 million copies. It's more than 1 million motherfuckers watching TV.
Definitely.
So TV money is based off of viewership. If you're getting shows that's playing and being on for a decade, like shit, all the QD3 shit of doing like a Cosby's theme song and all that, man, he ain't ever had to sell no beat. And he's more successful than shit. Majority of the producers out, because guess what? It's 20 years later, all them actors, their careers is done. He's still eating off of them motherfucking reruns. Because that's their radio spins, like for TV. Like all the times they replay, that's your radio spin.
Yeah, YouTube is the new TV too, man. You put music out there, you like you said, people are watching, man. You got people who are chefs, and they got their own cooking shows on YouTube. They got their own fashion shows. Anything you can think of. And they find music on the internet just like you like it, and they want to put it in their show. And YouTube is making it now to where you have to annotate things and you have to put the music, because there's this thing that matches it anyway. There's just like this thing in YouTube where if someone makes a cooking episode and they use your music for a piece of it to make it spice it up, it's going to notice it, it's going to notice the song, and it's going to send the rights to you.
Yeah, it's going to say owned by.
It's going to say owned by it, it's going to have the
So
rights.
they'll be able to see it too, that it says owned by DJ X, you know what I mean? Then it'll still be on their page, but all their hits and all the monetization from it will go to your shit.
Exactly. So they'll be getting famous and you'll be getting paid. And these
It
are
works for
people,
everybody.
and these are people who are living in their house doing this for the love, doing this for the fun of it. I'm sure y'all seen people who just do science tricks and they just regular people and them just get 14 million views on YouTube, or a video of a cat to some music. If you put your song out there, that might be your song with that shit, with that fucking cat. As long as you do your paperwork and legitimize yourself, man, you will get
Shit,
your
even like them cats that did that, what's that shit? What does the fox say?
Yeah.
Like, out of here. They got a children's book, they got all type of shit.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is really true.
That's wild.
Music is language, man. It's a dialect, man. It's a way to get to people, and it's what you put with it, man. That's what made hip hop. It's the sneakers, it's the clothes, it's the cars, it's our talk, it's where we come from. And that's what music is, man. It's everybody's way of, it's the one way we can express, but you ain't just about to get paid off just music. You gotta attach some shit to this shit. It's like money, literally. It's like, you know how you got like, even though you can have a lot of money, there's some people who don't have access. And there's people who with access who don't need money because they just know everybody and they just good with everybody. So that's the flip side of the music. Your music can be very good and you might not get paid. And then you could be the one person, you put your music out so consistently to where people are like, man, I always see him drop music. Let me pay attention to it. You know, that's the trick to this shit, you know, so you gotta pick which side you're gonna be on.
All right, yeah, before we close out, do we have any questions? What's your name?
Trey.
Trey, where you from?
Charleston, South Carolina.
South Carolina, hey, welcome. Welcome to the All right, what's your question?
I know we was talking about publishing earlier, but I know you said earlier, the other one, like taking the time to actually get that publishing deal. So like basically like you'll get raped if you don't, like if you sign the wrong publishing deal. But until you sign
You get raped no matter what.
Yeah, you gon' get raped.
Publishing deals are just because for every publishing deal, for every dollar they give you, depending on how your deal is, just a varying scale. For every dollar they give you, you got to make $1.50 back.
Yep.
So like until you find that right publishing deal, like what do you do?
I can explain it to you, okay? There's no such thing as the right publishing deal. There's a such thing as the right deal for you.
Right.
You know, because publishing deals vary in percentages. You can get a publishing deal where they just collect your money and you out running the street, or you need these people. You don't know any writers and you don't know any studios and you don't know how to write invoices, because that's what they do for you. They're concierge to artists. They sign artists. We come from the hood. What studios do we know? They book you in the studio for a week, send you on a plane, book you in a hotel you know you couldn't pay for it, but guess what? You paying for it.
And guess what rate you paying?
The real rate. You paying the Bill Gates rate because you're a baller now. You with Universal. You ain't about to get no Hotel 6 or nothing. You about to get the rate. And then as you want the A room, you got the A room.
Yeah. And as you go on, you can change it. Like with us, like we reevaluated our deal and was able to get out of the standard pub deal, and now we just have an admin deal. And so it's pretty much, they do the same thing as like ASCAP BMI, but they just go and collect. And then they only taking, yeah. So like the normal percentage is like 92.8. So we get 92% of our money, they just take 8 for doing all the shit.
Wow.
So it's different ways to work it, but like he was saying, it's not advantageous to do that if you're starting out, because you still got to do all the work.
Yes, right.
But here's an unkept secret. They tell you signed to a publishing deal and they're going to help you. They're not going to do shit.
Not a damn thing.
Like booking studios and flying yourself to work with artists are things we've been doing since 17 years old, man. You know, like, shit, I was just doing that on my bike, going to school, getting my own food. You know, it's just like human nature. Like I advise anyone, keep the human nature in yourself when you come into the music business, because people lose that, and that's where they lose their money. People want to get flown everywhere. They don't want to pay, man. Look.
And here's a simple human nature. How many of y'all get the mail and y'all don't open the shit? Y'all just like let it sit. You do that with your pub deal. We look back at our shit on a statement. We was getting charged from a writer who wrote overseas. We didn't even know what was going on, but they charged us half of the studio time.
Because it's to their beats.
Yeah. So we had to call and rectify it. And it's like, that's the thing. It's kind of like your taxes and shit. Like if you see that it's fucked up, and you make a point to say, hey man, I got my shit lined up, I'm good, y'all tripping. Then they'd be like, okay, we'll take it off your account. But had we not said that shit, you ain't gonna do it. I mean, it's the same thing with getting paid, like we was talking about earlier. They're not gonna come and find you to pay you. If you ain't making no noise, shit.
Yeah, they ain't gonna mess with you.
Because sometimes they don't even know. Like for an example, there was a Wayne joint, I think it was like Stories from the Bottom or Nightmares from the Bottom or something.
Yeah.
We had the same beat with the same loop on it. It was the exact same shit. And it's like, technically we could have been on some shit like, oh, nigga, we got the same beat and was heard it, but it's like, yo, we use the same loop. Some nigga found the same, like, Apple loop or whatever it was. He used the same shit, so it's like, you don't always gotta fight for your shit aggressively when sometimes it just be a coincidence and it be what it be, you know what I mean? Like, you can't always be on your I need my money or someone's fucking me over, because it don't always be like that.
And your pub deal is your networking, bro. Network yourself. That's your publishing. Your publishing is just your links.
And make them be accountable.
That's your residual.
Like, shit, you signed up, call them motherfuckers every week.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, what's going on, what you got doing? Even if they can't do nothing for you, at least make them be accountable. So then you have a track record, too, of, man, I've been hitting you for 6 months and you ain't hooked me up with nothing. Then it's like, they can't say nothing.
And before you get a publishing deal, before you have anything, before you get an attorney, man.
Yes.
You be thinking about
You need that before a
deals,
manager.
Yeah, yes.
and managers.
Yeah.
Get attorneys, man. I love y'all, man. Get attorneys, man.
And get a cool, and get a cool one, too. Not
Yeah,
one that's
man.
like great, but then they charge you like $1 million an hour, because then it's like all the
Yeah,
money
man.
you're making is going right back to
Yeah,
them.
man. You know, you want somebody that's gonna rock with you, help you get established. Like you said, make yourself an LLC, copyright, trademark, whatever. If you got slogans, if you got a tag in your beat, do all that shit, man. Don't wait till niggas like to wait until they get on and then they start complaining about all this shit. It's too late. It's like an avalanche. You can't stop it. It's gonna roll and then eventually it's gonna crash. But if you're able to tether, you know what a tether ball is, and you can hit that bitch and it go wild and crazy, but what does it do? It still stay attached. That's what the music industry is, man. You want to be attached. This shit ain't gonna make sense a lot of times, but if you legitimize yourself, that shit gonna come full circle. It's gonna come full circle. The thing about doing these pub deals is you don't want nobody doing your business for you when you ain't ready to do business.
And just take the time to set your shit up. Like, if you got such and such ASCAP publishing, guess what? You gotta fucking open tax ID with that.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, a check will come.
Yeah.
You can't cash it
Yeah.
without having the company to match up to the shit.
Well, look, I want to say thank y'all for coming out. Give it up for Childish, baby. Well, enjoy all the festivities and everything. Turn up and don't turn down for one. Let's do it. I want to get a picture with you. I want to get a picture with y'all real quick.